Sat Shri Akal ji, good evening, and I wish all of you happy Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Gurpurav while we are rejoicing and celebrating Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Gurpurav, our 10th Guru. But there is something very serious which we have to talk about today. And today was the day, all the more important because one side I see this appeasement process which has run by the government of India, at least the Prime Minister of this country, are trying to, or the government in itself are trying to appease Sikhs. But what we want to talk about, and the question today I want to ask, nationally, internationally, that not even 36 hours ago, not too long ago, only 36 hours, there were prominent personalities from their Twitter handle or Facebook handle and verified accounts, prominent personalities of India. They were inciting people at large to engage in a mass murder of Sikhs, which is called Sikh genocide. Now, this is a very serious concern. When at such large extent, a social judgment or a social wave is created to kill Sikhs and to incite in Sikh genocide, this is something which Sikhs also have to discuss amongst themselves as a community, and we have to ask the world. Let's go back where it started from. It started with Prime Minister's visit to Punjab. He was to go to a rally which, due to some shortcomings in the system, he could not reach. Though his perceived security threat that his life is in danger in Punjab, or it was in danger in Punjab, that kind of narrative was built. The same narrative was picked up by the media, the national media channels. They kept amplifying it. They kept emphasizing on it. And what it did, it created hatred amongst the people in the central India and in the other parts of the country against Sikhs. The hatred was displayed openly. So, such and such that what we have realized as a community, that within the majority or so-called majority of India, they still have this beast hiding in them where they have hatred towards all the minorities and the Sikhs. Now, a lot of people, they come and say that no, it's today we are different citizens and different India we are living in. People are well educated and we do not expect genocidal threat from them. But it is reality. We faced it. We faced threat. We have faced that they are threatening us with dire consequences which are worse than 1984 when Sikh genocide happened in New Delhi. Because Prime Minister of this country, due to some shortcomings in the system, could not reach the rally, and his perceived security threat, the facts were not known. There is no official statement from PMO, no official statement from Home Ministry, no official statement from SPG, no official statement from even Punjab government. The facts were not known. And the matter is also sub judice in the Supreme Court. But Sikhs were blamed and threatened with dire consequences, which they have to face if Prime Minister were to be harmed in Punjab, where we had no intention to do something like that, and the consequences which are worse than 1984. Now, what does it show? It shows that there is that beast which is still there, and it is passed on from one generation to another in the majority against the minorities, and today especially against Sikhs. So the question I want to ask, that why nobody at the national level raised this question or raised voice specifically in favor of Sikhs. And then, very importantly, when in 1984 we faced Sikh genocide in New Delhi, we were made to believe that Congress did it. Now, it is very important for us to understand today. Okay, let's assume for a moment that Congress did it, or Congress did it. But the same Congress party is contesting elections. A month later, it happened in December 1984. In November 1984, the Sikh genocide. In December 1984, there were general elections in India, and the Congress party came into power with thumping majority of 402 seats. So what does it mean? It means whenever there is a genocide of a minority, the majority will reward that political party. And the Congress was rewarded. They did not grab the power. They were democratically elected. And they came into power and formed a government. So the same formula they tested in 1984. Similarly, it was tested in 2002 in Gujarat. And what are they trying to do? They are trying to probably use the same formula today to come in power. Is this democracy? So this is what we have to tell ourselves as a minority, as a Sikh, or if there is any Muslim or a Christian, that you're not safe, because they can come after you without any provocation. You will be hunted down and you will be killed, and the majority will reward them to come in power and form a government. So what do we have to tell ourselves as a minority? That we are not safe in this country? We cannot represent our diversity and our diverse principles, or we cannot follow a particular faith. And if we do not align ourselves with the majoritarian system, then we will face dire consequences, or will be threatened that a genocidal program will be run against us. I want to tell all my Sikh brothers that no matter how many langars you'll host, no matter how many oxygen cylinders you'll distribute, no matter in crisis you will help this nation, no matter that you will in every natural calamity donate or go and help the needy and people who need help, or people who require they have some basic requirements. It takes 1 second for the majoritarian system and the majority to forget about all that and to kill you. This happened in Delhi in 1984. Irrespective of the fact what party, political ideology or party you belong to, or what you have done for the nation, they do not care about nation building. What they do, they in 1984 attacked General Arora, who was a national hero in Bangladesh war. They also attacked Air Chief Marshal Arjun Singh Ji. Even Gyani Jail Singh's car was attacked when he was a president of this country. So what actually, when this genocidal impulse flares up, what it does, they attack your identity and they attack your appearance. No matter in what political system you are in, what party you are serving. So I want to tell my fellow Sikh brothers that it takes 1 second for them to burn down the same Gurdwara in which they're eating langar from. Is this what we are living in? And this is the largest democracy that we as a minority, whenever there is an expression, whether it is to do with our rights or it is to do with our existential crisis, we have to face genocidal threat. This happened on the 26th of January when we were defamed, we were ridiculed, and then we were isolated, and then we had to go to jails. And we are still facing different criminal cases or charges on us. So the question is very relevant that anywhere we are sitting in this country, because they've gone down to an extent saying that it will not only be restricted to New Delhi, it will be the genocidal program which they threatened us to run. It will be pan-India and even internationally. Now the question becomes very relevant that all of us, people like me, who are living outside Punjab, what do they have or what do they feel? That they can be hunted at any point of time. They'll be hunted down. Then they will be killed by the mob. And what we have to do is stare at our murder or death. And the threat which was coming, that irrespective of your gender and age, you will forget 1984. Now this is a very serious question. And this is a very serious situation which has to be brought into light, because the situation or this crisis or this whole event of Prime Minister visiting Punjab, where we feel as Punjabis, as Sikhs, that he's absolutely safe because we respect that position. Though ideologically we can differ from him, but we respect that position he's holding, that chair he's holding, and we understand how important it is to show respect. And he was most welcome. Nobody is saying that you cannot go and hold a rally or conduct your meetings, political meetings. If there were farmers protesting, they were protesting for their genuine concerns peacefully. Now the law says, the Supreme Court in itself says that you can protest peacefully. It does not say that if a Prime Minister is probably going to hold a rally, then you cannot protest. So this whole hue and cry, which the media amplified too, and on social media, some elected representatives of people. Now that is a serious thing. If elected representatives of people are also threatening Sikhs with dire consequences, which are worse than 1984, has brought out this beast in the majority. And it has been passed from one generation to another. Because first time it came into the light in 1966 during Punjabi Suba movement, when there were 6 killed and injured in Delhi, only because they were asking or they were protecting their language and rituals, only because of that. Then We faced the same Sikh genocide in 1984 November in New Delhi. We faced Sikh genocide in Punjab from 84 to 2002. So again, if we are after so many years at the same juncture, that means this beast in majority still hiding there. So I want to also ask a question to the majority of our country, or to all the peace-loving people, or people who reward such political parties who engage or incite people at large to engage themselves in any genocide, that you may be rewarded in India. What are you going to do, and what are you going to represent at the international level when you go for United Nations meetings or conferences at that platform, when you go for European Union conferences? What are you going to represent there yourself as? That we are a country or a civilization which is more than 5,000 years old, and we are engaged in mass extermination of a microscopic minority like Sikhs because they did not align with our ideology, because they have different principles, because there is diversity in them, and we do not acknowledge and we cannot allow them to have their diversity. Either they assimilate within us, or we will eliminate them and run a genocidal program. So what? Kindly tell us, after Sikhs, who's in the wait list? Are Muslims in the wait list, or Christians are in the wait list? Please tell us this. Because the beast is not going to stop. It is passed on from one generation to another, and it is still hiding in that majority in India. You know, let's historicize this. It is the same program which Nazis have run against the Jews in 1930. Again, same program. 360. Across 360, they were attacked, they were threatened, they were ridiculed, they were defamed. And same happening with Sikhs, because there was this bully by app which came into the light, where they were impersonating Sikh names to auction some women. Women who are activists, who are raising their voice against injustice. Now, why are you impersonating Sikh names? To defame them, to show that they are not only anti-national, because that's where you put us, that's the category you put us in. You call us anti-national, Khalistanis, and then you justify your whatever violence the state does on us. So the repression is justified by saying that they are Khalistanis or they are anti-nationals, and also you are defaming us through these apps by showing that they are not only anti-national, but their characters are full of lust. Look the way they look at women, where that's not a Sikh character. We don't have to tell the world who we are. And kindly stop defining us, defaming us, attacking us 360. And this is exactly what Nazis have done to Jews in the 1930s. They first defamed them, then they took over their businesses. All the Jews were put in concentration camps, then they were made slaves to do a forced labor. So Jews realized this after 60 lakhs Jews were killed, that the whole system is against us. So what do we consider? And that's why they went to a safer place, made their own country, and thought that this is a place where we are safe, where we cannot be attacked or killed just for a fact that we are a Jew or practicing a particular faith. So, when statements are made that across the country we will run a genocidal program, the question we need to ask is, kindly tell us if there is any unstated program or unstated some kind of program you're running to identify Sikhs across the country, so that when that impulse will flare up, you will just come attack us and kill us for no fault of us, just for a fact that we are practicing a particular faith and we are minority and are representing our diversity. So finally, I want to ask all the Sikhs who are hurt by these statements on social media, I want to ask all of them to kindly question these so-called prominent faces or the majoritarian system representatives, that this is what you want to do to us. You want to run a genocidal program against us? And how do you plan to do it? Kindly tell us. Because they should know that survival instinct is always greater than the threat. They should remember this. Finally, I want to also ask the Minority Commission of India and the Human Rights Commission of India that have they taken suo motu cognizance against such statements whosoever has made on social media or on the national channel, and are they taking some kind of action against them? So we have to ask the system and raise a question. It is time when we have to, within ourselves, as a community, brainstorm that if this impulse, genocidal impulse, or this beast is still there in the majority, then how do we safeguard us? How do we start a defense mechanism or create a place where we are safe? I wanted to talk to people at the national and international level, because it's something very serious when socially this kind of judgment is created and such kind of hatred is displaced across the country against Sikhs. And in the end, I want to also say that we as Sikhs are no threat to no one. Do not pose existential crisis for us. Otherwise, like I said, instinct, which is in any human being or animal, survival instinct is greater than the threat. Thank you so much. ਜਿਉਂਦੇ ਵਸਦੇ ਰਹੋ। ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਤੇ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ। ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।